All right, Ultra Noops Nation, my name is Reid Nelson. This is Izzy Alkafas. This is This Week in Rec, Week 6. Correct? Week 6. We're going to talk almost exclusively about Ryan Jansen. I'm just kidding. No, we're going to talk exclusively about the playoff structure, but I do want to mention a stat we saw about Ryan Jansen. You said tonight was your 400th game?
Tonight was my 400th game, yeah.
And it was Junius's 300th, or will next week will be Junius 3? We checked the games leader. Ryan Jansen has 626 games played, which is absolutely absurd. Yeah. So I just wanted to start off the night with the stat of the night. So, yeah. Okay, last season we initiated a new playoff format. Everybody kind of went into it, I think yourself included, being like, okay, yeah, we know how this is going to play out. We know how this is going to play out, and then it blew up in everybody's face. We had absolutely no idea how it was going to play out. Gorillas lose, Rebels lose. So the Shockers going into it, they're thinking they have to play one of those two teams. They don't have to play any of them. I loved how it turned out. I don't necessarily love how we got there, though. So first we want to talk about how crucial it is to be able to select your own schedule or destiny. So talk about the advantage of being a top 4 seed, what that means.
It means that essentially, that top seed gets to basically handpick who they play. That's the advantage. This eliminates the historical bad luck of, hey, I got the number 1 seed, the Rebels had an awful season, and then they end up being the 16th seed and they lose in the first round, right? This eliminates that problem. The 4 seed will probably end up having to play the Rebels at some point in time, which is fair. Or whoever doesn't. So assuming the Rebels don't make the top seed. But this season, the top 4 teams look like they're probably the strongest 4 teams that we have in rec. So hopefully things keep playing out the way that they're playing out right now. And we don't have those, giant teams playing each other early. Because I think last season, like you had mentioned, Shockers tried to set it up to where, we're going to play one of them. We don't want to play the other one in the championship or the Final Four, so we might as well just put them together and get them both out of the way. So that's the strategy.
Who are the top 4 teams right now?
Rebels, Muskies, Gorillas, Freeballers.
Okay, so there's 24 teams in rec. Every team will make the postseason. I don't know if that's been really put out there yet. I don't think we're necessarily breaking any news, but there'll be 24 teams making the postseason. We just have the peanut gallery out there screaming at us. You can have your own show if you want. So all 24 teams are going to make the postseason. 8 play-in games. Is that correct? Because we'll go from 24 to 20, or is it?
No, so the top 8 essentially get a bye.
Okay.
And then those 16 teams do a play-in game.
Yep. So 8 play-in games. Yep. So then that'll bring us down to 16. How? Again, I don't think it's. Well, I know it hasn't been formally decided yet. There was a lot. Now this was Kevin Mayer's idea. So Kevin, please let us know what you think. But I know we want to tweak it slightly. How would you like to see this play out?
I would like to see it play out. This is what we talked about. We talked about having some sort of lottery so what happens is last time the 4th seed knew that they were going to get the last pick. The new way that we should do, and we haven't really finalized it, but we'll discuss it, is doing kind of like a drawing process where we almost put names in a hat or do like a lottery ball and say, okay, the top seed has a 75% chance or 60% chance of getting the first pick on who they play, and then we can do like a 20 or a 60, 25, 15, 5, whatever the percentage would be, or 15, 10. Figuring out a way to do that system to where that 4th seed isn't guaranteed that they're going to have the last pick in the draft. So we would draw the teams for the playing games, and then after that's done, then we'd do the last 4. And the last 4 is going to be the strongest 4 teams left, which would make the top 8.
Okay.
Right? So it'll prevent the 4 seed then will be like, well, we have a chance of not getting the last pick, so we don't want to screw ourselves by selecting an elite team and then being stuck with an elite team. So last season, for instance, with the Gorillas and the Rebels, they put them next to each other. Well, that's a risk that you don't have to take because we're doing a drawing process for that last spot. So you're not guaranteed that you're going to get the Rebels or the Gorillas.
But I'm a little confused here. So let's say it plays out as it's supposed to play out, and the first team gets the first pick, second, third, fourth. Are they selecting? Because again, the first seed is not going to play the 24 seed. No. That's not how it works out. Are they selecting their bracket, worst team in the bracket first, then first team, or how does that work? Yeah,
so we're doing the playing games first. So that'll play out normally. 4 seed gets the last pick first, and then it loops around, snake draft to the last.
From 24 to 9.
Yes, those go into a bunch. Once those teams are selected, we draw for the last 4, the elite 4 that's left that didn't make the top 4, and then the 4 seed might have like a 10% chance of getting that spot, and then they don't have to play.
But my question to you is this: is that we are leaving it up to the GMs to make sure not to select those 4 teams left. Why don't the players committee select those 4 teams?
So the players committee decides who's going to make the top 8, and then goes from there.
Okay, so, but let me just clarify this so that we're all clear. So the first 16 selections will be made normally. Snake draft, 1 to 4, 4 to 1, 1 to 4, 4 to 1, 1 to 4, 4 to 1.
Yep.
Okay, and then the last 4 will be lottery style. Yes. Okay, so that's simple. That's clean. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't see any.
It prevents teams from having to pick, having to match up teams against each other. They won't have that luxury because they won't know where they're going to land in the lottery process.
Why? Okay, two questions. Why are we letting all 24 teams in, other than so the blue chips can make the postseason? And number 2, I'm just kidding. And number 2, well, here, I'll ask you that first question. Why are we letting all teams in? Regular season essentially means nothing unless you're going to finish in those top 8, I guess.
4 and then 8. So we can get the blue chips in the playoffs. I mean, it's as simple as that. They're 0-5. Briggs is reeling. He needs all the teams in, or else he's going to be sitting at home watching the games.
So you mentioned those top 4 teams earlier. Who's number 5 as we stand today?
Probably the team that you want to play the least is the Blazers, I think. With a full squad, that's a tough team. With Jake, Regenscheid shooting the 3, stretching the floor, Kurt banging low, Pinkett playing defense. I mean, they got a really good, 6, 7. I mean, there isn't a guy in that team where it's like that guy's playing above his capabilities, or playing above his clout in a sense. Like, nobody doesn't fit. Everybody's good, and they fill a role, and that's the type of team that you got to put together to win. And I think they have a sneaky chance of winning the championship this season.
Every single season, without fail, no matter what, we have some roster change, team change, mumbo jumbo that comes by our desk that we've got to settle. This year it was Twan left Big Smash, went to the Crusaders. Big Smash did not give him permission. I had to look at text messages and this, that, and the other thing. So we gave Big Smash an opportunity to add another player post-deadline. I don't know if it actually happened, if they did add another player or not. But this is my thoughts moving forward. Players Committee will ultimately decide. I'd like to, once you sign up for that team, once you play 1 second of basketball with that team, once you sub in and enter the court with that team, that's your team for the quarter. Come hell or high water. If you want to quit. But you're not going to go jumping onto some other team. It just causes too many problems. There's too big of gray area. If we just say you're locked in, period, plain simple, done, I think we'd all save a little bit of time.
Yeah, and this is the Twan rule, right?
Sort of, yeah. We could call it that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't disagree there. I think, and by the way, they added apparently a guy named Storm Smith. If you click on his name, it actually is the picture of Storm Graham, but I don't remember seeing Storm Graham there yesterday.
I've only met one Storm before.
What happens when you and Reid when Wessels comes back with his flowing locks and his black pants? He's wearing pants now. He looks like a fool. That's that's how you have the shit show that's become, these roster changes and it's kind of become
Chad's pants. Because we've had
No.
this problem forever. Every single season we have a roster change problem.
But now there's a guy named Storm Smith that's in Bloomington. And it's Storm Graham's picture. And it's not Storm Graham. Unless it is Storm Graham and I didn't recognize him. It's like Uncle Drew. It's like the new Uncle Drew.
We'll take a deep dive into the Storm Smith controversy, which I'm sure will be very interesting. So 2 weeks from tonight, seeding meeting, or is 2 weeks from tonight Thanksgiving?
3 weeks.
6,
3 weeks
7,
3 weeks
8.
from tonight.
Because 2 weeks from tonight is, of course, Thanksgiving, right?
I think so.
Who do you have in the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh.
Look at this mustache. What's this for? Oh, God, now I got to talk into this thing. What's this mustache for?
I haven't actually shaved. You've never seen. I don't think you've ever seen me with the side. Like, I've always had a beard.
Not always.
Well, it's been like almost 3 years since I've had the beard, or since I've had like some sort of clean. My
Going to the archives. My
profile picture has it off, but I decided, I'm going on vacation with the wife. My wife hates the beard, so I was like, okay, I'll shave.
I've had it for 3 years and she hates it.
Yeah, it's not her choice. So I decided to shave, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep the mustache. And part of the reason is I have a bet at work that I wouldn't have the stash, but I'm going to keep it. I'm gonna wear it to work tomorrow. And
Why don't you go full stash? None of this, just full stash.
because I want to keep the goatee for the vacation, right? I don't want to get rid of it. This is like trademark. I literally had a goatee since I was like 14 years old. I'm not gonna just get rid of it now. Like it's going with me to the grave.
Trademarked. Okay. Well, will you be back next Thursday or will you be on vacation?
I will be on vacation.
Okay. Well, we'll figure something out for then. Until then, we'll see you at Saturday morning's Ultimate Hoops Showcase, Dream League Showcase number 1. uhlife.com/Dream League if you'd like to participate. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Target Center. See you then.